In just 5 years, one country took its reading pass rate from 32% all the way to 80%. They didn't get a new curriculum, they didn't hire more teachers. They changed one thing about how reading was taught. I'm Rebecca, I've been a literacy specialist for over 15 years, and what England did is the clearest real-world proof I've ever seen that science of reading works. If your school is still teaching kids to guess, this story is going to show you why one entire country decided it wasn't good enough. Before 2006, England's classroom used what you call a balanced approach to reading. Teachers were taught to use multiple strategies to help kids identify unknown words. They would say things like, look at the pictures, think about what makes sense in the sentence, use the first letter as a clue. Does that sound familiar? Those strategies teach children to guess at words instead of actually reading them. That's fine when books are simple and pictures fill in the gaps. But once the pictures disappear, the words get harder, and a child who has never been taught to decode has nowhere to go. England was seeing exactly that problem play out at scale. The country's international reading ranking had fallen sharply in the years leading up to the review, and the government decided to find out why. The review was led by Jim Rose, and what his team found confirmed what reading researchers had been saying for years: that children learn to read best when they're taught to decode first, to take the sounds in a word apart and put them back together. Rose recommended that every state school in England adopt systematic phonics as the foundation of early reading instruction. He also pushed for the simple view of reading as the guiding framework. This is the idea that reading has two sides: decoding the words on the page and understanding what those words actually mean. You need both, but decoding comes first. By 2007, phonics was embedded as a requirement in every state school, no longer one tool among many. Now here's where it gets really interesting, because in 2012, England went even further. The government introduced something called the Phonics Screening Check. Every child in year 1, that's about ages 5 or 6, takes this test, and it includes nonsense words. Words like jound and sproon. And this was intentional because a child who's guessing based on memory or context can't read a made-up word. Only a child who's actually decoding can. That one detail tells you everything about how seriously England took this. They designed a test specifically to catch guessing and reward real decoding. Pass rates climbed from around 32% in a small pilot the year before the test went national to over 80% by 2017. And England moved up the international reading rankings. Now I want to be honest with you, because this is important. England's results aren't perfect. About 25% of kids still struggle with reading by age 10. Phonics alone doesn't solve everything, and that's actually consistent with what the science of reading says. Vocabulary, comprehension, fluency, oral language, those all matter too. But here's the takeaway. When an entire country looked at the research, removed the guessing strategies, and replaced them with explicit, systematic phonics instruction, reading scores went up. That pattern is hard to ignore. England ran a national experiment with a decade of data behind it. That's not an opinion, that's a track record. What England's story tells us is simple. This isn't a fringe idea. This isn't a new trend. This is what the evidence has been pointing to for decades. And one country was brave enough to act on it at scale. If you're a teacher navigating a school that still uses balanced literacy, or a parent trying to fill the gaps at home, you're not going off the deep end. You're doing exactly what the evidence says to do. Drop a comment below and tell me, does your school use systematic phonics, or are you still seeing the old guessing strategies? I'll read every single one. And if you want to go deeper on how kids actually learn to read, check out the How Kids Learn to Read playlist in the end screen. It's the best place to start. You're doing the right thing. Keep going.